Okay, hi everyone. Oops. I'm Karen Yankovich. We just got a lot of feedback back from you, Christina. I'm Karen Yankovich, and this is Get Seen, Be Heard, and I'm with Christina Daves here, and we're here doing our first blab together and recording this for the Get Seen, Be Heard podcast. So, Christina, tell us what's going on.
We are just so excited to be here. I thought we'd start out kind of telling you guys a little bit about us so you know why we're here in front of you and what we talk about. I'll start. Karen is amazing. Karen is a social media strategist. Wow. We met probably, I guess, about a year ago. She kind of took over some of my social media for me, exploded it. She's just incredible. So now we work together all the time. Like I always send my clients to her, but we realized we had a good thing going, this social media PR. When we work together, magic happens. So Karen, tell everyone a little bit about you so they know your background and how you got into all this. Oh, we lost Karen. She froze. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about me. I invented a product and needed to get publicity for it. So I'm sitting there, I've got all this product, I have no idea what to do, I can't afford advertising, I can't afford a publicist. So I was like, I have to figure out how I'm gonna get free publicity. So that's what I did. I went out on my own and I figured things out. And in less than a year, I appeared in over 50 media outlets, including Steve Harvey and Dr. Oz and, affiliates of ABC, NBC, Fox. And then my phone started ringing off the hook with people calling me going, Christina, how are you doing this? And I started helping people and figuring things out that worked. I helped my friends first, and then they started having all this amazing success. So that's how I started PR for Anyone. And yay, Karen's back.
Yeah, my computer froze. So luckily, you're actually on my phone right now, so I'm restarting my computer, and I'll jump back on the computer because I much prefer it on the computer, but I didn't want to just leave you hanging. I'm so glad this continued the call, though, with me not here.
Yeah. No, I told my story, but now, so I tell them how I got the PR and how I kind of became this DIY PR maven because I had to. But then I'll let Karen tell you a little bit about her and how we met and how we found this marriage of social media and PR.
Yeah. So, sorry, you guys. I'm just gonna get back on the computer as I'm talking here, so I'm not trying to be. Because you'll be all shaky on the phone. So what I started to say was I started to do social media for some workshops, and my background is technology. Like I've always been really good at technology, but I've always been on the sales end of it. I've always been the person that closed the deals, went to the customers. So social media was like a sweet spot for me because it was a blend of the geeky, techie stuff. And I love all the analytics and all that geeky stuff that most people hate. And the social part, which is what I was really good at, was the meeting with clients and connecting with people really authentically. So eventually when people literally started throwing money at me saying, well, I'm going to give you money. Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I was like, okay, well, I don't need a brick wall to fall in. I mean, maybe I should start doing more of this. So I started to shift my consulting business more to social media consulting. And this was only a few years ago, but oh, nice to hear. So I'm seeing that we have similar backgrounds to Sue Walrab. That's really, I actually know Sue Walrab in New Jersey. I know you're not her because she doesn't have that same background. Yeah. So I started to do that. And then, I focused on LinkedIn because it's what I knew. I was like the person on Facebook that was like, I don't really want to be on Facebook. Like people don't need to know my business. I was really a Facebook holdout until I went to like a class reunion and everybody was connected on Facebook. And I thought, all right, well, I'm going to check it out. And, at first I thought, okay, this is really cool for my personally, but then the wheels started turning like, oh my gosh, the opportunities for business were like amazing. So that's kind of how I started. But then one day, this one fateful day, about a year and a half ago, I was listening to a podcast. Christina was being interviewed. And as I heard her being interviewed, I heard my words coming out of her mouth. She was saying things that I say. I was like, who is this person? She's, and I was actually at the time looking for somebody that did PR for a project. And we'll tell you a little bit about that project too, as the day goes on. So I literally reached out to her after the podcast and said, I would love to meet you because I can't believe how similar our experiences are, or how similar we handle our approach to clients. And, that's kind of how I hooked up with Christina. And, she's brought me in on clients. I've brought her in on clients, and the clients that hire both of us together, and these are our private clients. Like, we both have programs and services for entrepreneurs, but I also have private clients, corporate clients that pay my company Up Level Media to do work, help them with their social media and to get their message out to greater audiences. And when they tie that back in with the PR plan, unbelievable things happen. And that's, so we've done a lot of work together, and I'm going to kind of hand this back off to Christina while I get back on my computer to tell you a little bit more about what's going on.
Yeah. So what we decided, we're going to start this podcast. You guys are on the inaugural one. Starting next week, we're going to have guests, and we're going to bring people in on the hot seat so you can ask us anything you want, if it's social media related, PR related, combining the two. But we're just really excited to share our knowledge and share everything we know. And we'd kind of like to hear feedback from everyone. We have a lot of people on today, which is awesome. But what are you looking for? If we have this many people on here right now, what can we help you with social media, with PR, that we can then know, what kind of guests to bring on week after week? We're starting our list now. Here comes Karen again. The funny thing is we tried to do this. We tried this last week, and it was me who couldn't get on.
I know. Well, I had to get off my phone. So, Sarit, I had to boot you to get on here, but we'll let you know when we want you to come back in, because we totally want you to come back in. Hey, Bonnie, nice to see you here. But I had to boot you to get myself back on here. But we're gonna call you back.
Karen, here's a good question. Do they follow us here to do this, or do they subscribe?
Well, the best way to do it is to follow us here. And right now, to the best of our knowledge, we can't, even though we're co-hosts, one or the other of us have to set up this program. And Bonnie, you've been scoping, blabbing, pretty frequently. So maybe you can help us answer this. So one or the other has to set it up. So I set it up today. Christina will probably set it up next week, and we'll alternate this until we get to the time where we can put a branded, so whoever set it up is the host. So because we really don't want to have like one, we want to be co-hosts, we'll alternate who sets it up. So you kind of have to follow us both here on Blab so you can see that. But if you go to, we're going to be doing it every week. And if you go to, I'll type it in. If you go to KarenYankovich.com/GetSeenBeHeard, the latest episode will be there for you to subscribe to every week. As soon as we're done here, that'll be ready for next week.
Yeah, and I have it too, PR for anyone /GetSeenBeHeard. So Karen, what do you want to do? Do you want to see if people have questions? You want to tell them a little bit about the marriage of social media and PR, why we think it's so good together?
Yeah. If they click on your profile, they'll see any blabs you've scheduled. Yeah. I think let's bring people on because we'll have questions for you. So if you want to join us, click the open seat that's there, and we will not have one unique URL for the show, but we each have a. I'm going to Sarit with. Whoops. I think did you dump Sarit? I tried to. Oh wait, I'm going to add Sarit right now. Jamie will get you next. We want to add one person at a time for now too. We get the hang of this.
Yeah.
So, hey, are you in your car?
I was just are you driving?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Now I can. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just like waiting for my son to come out of school. I decided to come and say hi.
I'm so glad you did. So, Sarit, I know that Sarit does social media also. So do you ever implement like PR techniques for your social media clients?
What I do mostly is website design, and I do some social marketing and a little bit of PR, but mostly I focus on website design. But this day it's also mixed because you have to know a little bit of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm designing a website, I need to know how to bring people to the website, and I need to know how to get the people to buy from you. So I don't see it, in today DNA, I don't see it as one thing or one profession or one expertise. I see it like it's a whole thing that you need to know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we're working together so much, because there's just such a perfect fit for it.
Right.
And then tying it in with a website design that supports that up-level branding, really kind of just takes it all home, I think.
Right. I agree.
You guys, I'm going to turn this light off because with the light on, it's so hot here. Oh my gosh. So
This is so cool, guys.
it is cool, right, Sarit? There's so many cool things you could do on it. And I have to tell you, I love playing with the new tools, but my mind goes straight to how can this support my business? How can this help my business? And these new live streaming apps have really, really brought so many new followers to me. I mean, I've gotten clients very quickly. Nothing has grown my audience faster than live streaming apps, Periscope and this. Nothing, not Twitter, not Facebook. I grow my followers that way, but to grow my list and to get people in my free challenges, and which hopefully they buy my programs after that, live streaming, because they get to know you,
because
right?
It's the interaction. Absolutely. They get to see the real you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but how do you do that? So, because people don't have to sign up for those, right?
Well, that's why you have to be conscious of that. So for me, I have my free LinkedIn challenge. So, I mean, I don't need to do this here, but like if I'm periscoping, I'll like just hold up this card, go to linksup30.com and join my challenge. But I also talk about, and I believe this like with every fiber in my body, that there's so many people that I'm getting to know, new people that I've got to know through these live streaming apps. Like Bonnie Frank, who's on here, is doing a ton with live streaming apps. And I knew who Bonnie was before, but I know so much more about her now. A lot of these people that are like kind of Periscope celebrities, we don't really know if they really know their stuff, right? So for me, I encourage people to have great LinkedIn profiles and connect with people on LinkedIn after your broadcast so that you can support your credibility on these live streaming apps. So I think everybody that's doing this really should have a plan to bring their followers to their other platforms so that they can grow their business that way.
Interesting. Interesting. I like it. I'm definitely
Very
use it.
cool.
Yep.
Very cool. I'm gonna bring Jamie in too, Christina. What the heck, we'll go for it. I know I told Christina we won't have 4 people, but Jamie's been sitting here, and why not? Okay. See you later.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Good. Hi, nice to meet you, Christina.
You too, Jamie. Thanks for coming.
Oh, absolutely. I was thrilled. This is my first blab. I've been periscoping for a while, but first blab. Thanks, Karen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't think I've caught any of your periscopes, so I have to I hope I'm following you. I'm going to write it down and make sure I'm following you.
I did a rant today.
You did? What did you rant about?
Lack of follow-up.
Oh.
When entrepreneurs complaining about no sales, no clients, but when you ask them what kind of follow-up they've been doing with prospects, none. So
Yeah.
I have a slide that I use in all of my presentations, which is an old dial phone, and it's all covered in dust. And I tell people, dust off your phones and pick it up and follow up.
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes. Yesterday, somebody emailed me through my contact page on my website and is interested in the network that I run. And I emailed her back right away and suggested a time for a phone call. I said, how about this afternoon? Are you free at 2:30? I made a specific time of when I was available. She emailed back and said, great, talk to you then. Picked up the phone, listened to her needs, sold her. She's joined the network, and now she's like rocking and rolling and so excited. So it's like, how many hours did that take to flip that prospect? It's awesome.
Right. And it's so true. When you talk to people, you remember them. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why this live streaming stuff is so powerful, is people are remembering who we are because they've seen our voice, they've seen our faces and heard our voices. Yes, Bonnie, an actual phone.
Yeah.
An actual phone.
They really
That's what we
do
want, an
exist.
actual phone.
Sometimes you have to be the phone, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be like, I'm such a LinkedIn geek, but I always tell people, like, you want to connect with people on LinkedIn, but you want to convert that to a live call. Like, you don't want to just have a pen pal. You want to get on the phone with people and see and have a conversation, and maybe nothing will come of it, but when something does come of it, you never know. And it may just be like it may just be that like, okay, Jamie, I talked to this girl, Jamie, and, I think you should do business with her. Like maybe I'll just have other leads for them and vice versa.
Right. Don't you find that Periscope just ramps up the know, like, and trust factor? It just speeds it up. It's like, Karen, I feel like we're best friends. I've known of you for a long time. We've been connected in school, but now I'm like, hey, bud.
I know, right? It's so much. That's what I said. I saw. I must have seen you. I was getting ready for this show, so I must have seen you on Periscope or maybe on here, but I wasn't able to jump on because I was getting ready to do this. But that's what brought you to my head. I'm like, I wonder if Jamie's around and she wants to come to this thing with me. Like, we never even met each other, But I saw you somewhere. Maybe it was even on a Facebook post. And again, like you said, like we've never, this is really the first time I think I've even seen you, had a conversation with you, right?
Absolutely.
But that's the beauty of social media. I mean, it just connects all these people together.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your question earlier about what do you think about publicity and social media being married? It's perfect because it's harder to get publicity if you don't have a good online presence, right? So
right. You really do. And they will I always tell people that the media will come check you out.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a good website, you don't have followers, you don't have a blog I know a blog is a pain, and whether you want to do it or not, if your goal is publicity, you better have a blog so you look like an expert in your industry.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times people are overwhelmed by blogging, but maybe just write less and then promote it more across different platforms. Spend more time promoting it, less time repurposing it rather than trying to come up with something new every week.
Right. And just show that you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I've actually been taking my blog posts that are flat, right? I've been bringing them to live by blogging about, by periscoping about.
Oh, yeah.
So I use Facebook Live, and I do a whole broadcast on Facebook about my blog post for that week, and then I've been doing little snippets through the rest of the week on Periscope to bring, like, you've done all the time and effort, put all the time and effort into creating a great blog post. Why not take that time and effort that you did and really leverage it and repurpose it and talk about it in live streaming and, use it as a topic of conversation for the week then.
Absolutely. Very smart.
Yeah.
Time, more efficient.
Yep. Yes, Bonnie. That's what I'm calling them, blogcasts. That's exactly what I'm calling them. And it gives me something, like sometimes you say, I really should Periscope. I don't know what to talk about, right? So now I Periscope about my blog posts. And this past week was easy because it was like 9 tips for something. So now I know I have 9 Periscopes.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I want them to be short. So.
Yeah, it's a short-lived attention span on Periscope. They're flipping around, going from channel to channel, right?
Yep. Jennifer, you want to join us over here and tell us a little bit about what you're talking about with talking on the phone? I'm trying to catch this conversation, but I can't. Something about it's too passive. What's too passive? I guess I don't understand what's too passive. So, put your lipstick on.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, here we go, Jennifer. Okay. Look at this. I have this by my computer at all times now. Because you never know when you're going to jump onto a blast. Okay, she's coming.
We're ready.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
Okay.
Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. This is a problem Christina had initially.
Are you on Chrome? I had a terrible Chrome. Go to Firefox and put the same link in and then come back.
Check your volume.
No, there's some issue with Chrome that I couldn't get it figured out.
Yeah, we tried everything, and finally she tried it on Firefox, and it worked. Chrome should work, but for some reason, I'm on Chrome.
Yeah.
I'm on Chrome, but I'm on Chrome on a PC.
Maybe Chrome and Mac have a problem.
No. It is a new platform. I guess we'll cut them a break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Bonnie? I know that the Blab folks are always saying Chrome, and that's what I'm using, and that's why I thought you had to use Chrome, but Christina wasn't able to. I actually jumped into Bonnie Gillespie's Facebook group, and Bonnie said she uses Firefox and it works fine. So Christina started that, and
now I can get in. Yep.
I like your backdrop. That's good publicity, Christina, by the way.
Thank you. It's all about branding. Yeah.
Leveraging.
I'm always. Yeah.
So how do you use PR and social media for your business, Jamie?
Well, mine is all about online presence and publicity. combined. That's what my consulting business is about. As
Oh.
far as my networking organization, which is going to celebrate 8 years this fall, awesome. It's networking and business training, but it also is publicity. So it's, if they're not on social media, they know they're on social media within a week of joining, because like, all right, we need to connect on Google Plus, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. We push it because you really need to have that great online presence. I want to find you on the first page of Google search. We had a TV producer as a guest speaker at one of my events, and she, before the event, Googled everyone to see, how they appeared online. And the slightest things can kind of mess you up. And there's one woman named Annie, but in some places she was calling herself Anna. So the producer was like, I'm not finding you because half the time you're Anna and half the time you're Annie, and there's no photos of you. And like, it just, I'm like, I can't put you on TV unless I see that you have some sizzle reel or some video somewhere, or at least a photo of you smiling. Like, don't you like your teeth? Like, smile. There was
I tell that all the time, Jane. You have to be branded the same across everything you do. If your Twitter header looks one way and you get to your website and you use a different picture and a different, and they don't know that you're the same person, they might not use you. They're going to go on to somebody else because they want to make sure the person who's tweeting and saying whatever is the same one whose website they're on, is the same one whose blog they're on. So it's really important to brand yourself consistently in the PR realm if that's what you want to do.
Right, especially if you don't have TV experiences. They're taking a risk on you. So are they going to roll the dice? Well, if you have a strong online presence, it's more likely that they will, right?
Right, absolutely.
And even today, I wrote an ebook about having the same, how to get the same name across all social media sites. I've gotten a ton of people have gotten their hands on that ebook, and on this site, on Blab, I connected it with my Google account, which is Karen Yankovich, but I never went in and changed my name to Karen Space Yankovich. Like, I just was all together. And Christina said to me today, why, when I type in Karen Yankovich, do you not come up on Blab? I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. And I looked and I'm like, because I never fixed my name, so she didn't have it shoved together. She had it, with a space, which is what I should have realized. So even, you just gotta keep checking, because all these new sites, all these new platforms, it's nice that I can say I'm Karen Yankovich everywhere you go.
Right. And then if you're sharing across platforms, you want it to be able to hot link, right? So if you're on Instagram and then you share it to Twitter and you've tagged somebody and then they have a different name on Twitter than on Instagram, it's it's a dead link. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
So Bonnie, since Jennifer hasn't gotten back, you want to join us? You're still here, Bonnie? Bonnie's always got a lot of good things to say about these cool new, look at her. She took 2 seconds.
Yeah. I'm here.
Love that.
I was being polite and waiting patiently.
Welcome.
So Bonnie, I want you to tell the story, but we have introduce yourself first. But I want Bonnie and I did a lab. Bonnie and I did the first lab I did with Bonnie, and she had something interesting to say about that. And before she talks, I'm going to remind everybody over here, tweet a little bird, tell a little bird. Mm-hmm. Tweet everybody about this, that you're watching this. And then Bonnie, tell us about yourself.
Okay. Hi. So I'm Bonnie Frank, and I'm founder and CEO of the Women in Biz, which helps women start and grow their businesses. So I come to the business world as a former educator, teacher and college professor. And it's funny because I had been following Karen for years. So I'd been on her list. I'd been reading her stuff. I knew who she was. And then we got to know each other, I guess, through Periscope. I don't even know.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
And so, because I Periscope like a crazy woman, like 3 to 7 times a day, it's a little crazy. So, and I get it. It's fine. Go ahead, mock me. But
I know she does. You are. I wonder sometimes if you sleep.
Occasionally I do. I'll occasionally. But I have to say the 3 to 7 is closer now to 3, 4, or 5, because now I have Blab that I've put in there at least once a day. Although today this is number 3. So anyway, don't ask. But so I'm literally building my business on live streaming and through live streaming. I absolutely am. I will be totally honest about it. And I love live streaming because I am able to meet people like Karen who are real people who, let's face it, it would take a long time to be able to truly have a conversation, let alone a phone conversation with somebody like that. I mean,
now we text.
Right. Yes, exactly. Or IM or DM or something else.
Right.
I don't know. So, and people, you know, can only go to so many conferences, whether it's virtual or otherwise. And, you know, when you hear, and you've read the research, it says 7 to 12 touches on social media before someone will buy from you. And like Jamie, like you were saying, you know, with live streaming, it is, I mean, that is absolutely sped up unbelievably. It is way less than 3 to 7. And I think it is, or 7 to 12. I think it is more like 1, 2, or 3. I truly do. Or at least me personally, that has been my experience. And so, and I will put this in the chat. So when you put when you put a link in the chat, it's a live link. And what's beautiful about that is not that you can just click on it, but you can click on it and it's a separate page. And so you don't lose any of where you are in your blab. You can still blab away and still hear them and all that. It's just a separate page. So someall.com is, it's a free app, I guess, that I subscribe to. And because I subscribed to that, I knew that my Twitter reach, I mean, I don't have 30,000 followers on Twitter. Okay. I'm like a normal human being, despite the amount of live streaming.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure I like what that implies, but okay.
Not, well, okay. My business is 13 months old also. So, I mean, that's part of it. So, no, I did not mean that. Sorry. I did not mean that way. Anyway, so, yes, you're very normal, Karen. I always tell people you're like the sister from New Jersey that I never had. Like I totally, you know, you're very much like that. So anyway, my Twitter reach, because of one blab, because of the blab that I did with Karen, which was how in 70 minutes, an hour, no.
It went pretty long.
It was an hour and 10 minutes long. That's what it was. And so because of that one blab, my Twitter reach increased 20 times.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
20 times that day. And I was able to see that because I didn't do any other blabs that day. And I wasn't doing anything else different. Everything else remained constant. So there was only one factor that it could have been, which was that one blab. And how that happens is because when you tell a little bird, so everybody tell that little bird, when you do that, all 4 of our names are being put out there and tweeted and retweeted and favorited, right? Again and again and again. And that's where the 20 times comes in. I mean, it is unbelievable. And Karen, you know I love you. You know I do, but it is not just Karen because it happens every single time I'm on Blab.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be 20 times. It might be 30 times. It might be 12 times, whatever it is. But the reach, the tweets, the retweets, the mentions are through the roof.
Well, and the interesting thing about that is, and that's why, you know, to kind of tie it back to getting seen and being heard, right? I'm not ever going to tell you that you need to have 1 million followers and that's the end of social media. You need to have engaged followers. You need to have a plan. That being said, having a lot of followers does have a perceived level of influence. So if it's growing your followers, like every time, you know, if you have 1,000 Twitter followers, then 1,000 people see it when you tweet something. If you have 2,000 Twitter followers, obviously more people see it. So when you share this often, and if the people that are hosting the Blab or on the Blab are doing their social media right, very often if you say tell a little bird, they'll go in later and thank you or engage with you on Twitter, and that's going to help you grow your Twitter following. Now, since I'm abnormal apparently, and I have more than 30,000 Twitter followers, I retweet stuff, when I retweet stuff that you've shared, I'm telling 50,000 people that you exist, right? So that's why, you know, that helps build your influence. And so it's win-win, right? If you're watching a Blab and you're sharing that Tell a Little Bird, you're sharing the blog with Tell a Little Bird, and then the hosts go in later and thank you, it's all bringing more influence to you, which helps your business. So you're helping them, they're helping you. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Blab is feeding Twitter, and then Twitter will feed your Periscope. So they all kind of roll into each other.
Twitter has been feeding, no, I shouldn't say that. Periscope has been feeding all of my social media platforms, everything, even Google Plus, which yes, I am still on. Even that, it is feeding absolutely everything. It is feeding my list. It is feeding my programs. It has literally started and continued my coaching business. Everything. It has done.
So Bonnie, how are they finding all these other platforms when you're on Periscope? Do you just send them to your website? Or are you saying, follow me here, follow me there?
No, I'm sending them to my website for various things, usually for something that I'm talking about. And then they want to follow me there. I mean, I want them to follow me, but I don't say, follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on G+, follow me on, I feel odd even saying G+ on these new platforms. God forbid. But no, and I love that. I mean, I'm thrilled. And I'm telling you, the people who are opting in to my list, they're all new. It's all from live streaming. It's not from anywhere else. I know it.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Bonnie and Jamie, so you can think about this too, because we're going to ask you too. What are you doing to leverage this? What are you doing to take this newfound group of followers you have and really establish a brand that, that is elevated? Because it is, from where I sit, you guys, I know we're in a little bit of an incestuous community, right? We all follow each other, but there's a lot of other people that are not doing that. So from where the rest of the world sits, you're influential by the fact that you're broadcasting. So how are you using PR and social media to kind of leverage this new spot that you're in?
Right. So like I say, I've sold my goods and services. I've sold my programs. I've sold my coaching. I've sold my courses. I've sold other products. Like I've got this, like Scope Like a Pro, Ultimate Periscope Guide. I've sold that. So everything I have basically on the Women in Biz, I've sold on live streaming, everything. Plus, I've gotten podcast interviews. I have another one scheduled later on. I was just on one the other day. I've gotten that. I'm sure that I will get speaking engagements. And, even though I started my business, quote unquote, 13 months ago, I did a really sucky job of starting it. I'll be very honest. I did. And so I truly feel like I started my business when I started Periscope, because that's really when people started to know who I was.
Yeah.
I use it mostly for networking. Jumping on.
What do you mean?
Jumping onto other people's Periscopes and networking with the broadcaster or networking with the people that are on. Checking out the profiles of the people that are making smart comments or engaging with my own smart comments to get noticed by the people in that audience. But I need to do what Bonnie is doing and scramble and get some content to offer, because I've been so focused on helping my members, doing my network. My publicity via an online branding business is like less than a year old.
So, Sarah's on here, Videos That Shine. Sarah is a video expert. And she's saying it's just about practice. Just do it. Press record. It gets easier on video, one video at a time. And Sarah's actually helped me a lot with my videos. Mainly, and for a few things, like I don't like to read on videos, and Sarah's helped me learn how to memorize things more easily. So first of all, check out Videos That Shine, and check out Sarah there. But there's people are saying, how do you overcome your fear of doing video by doing these things? And I think everybody here at the same time went back and said, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. And
I'll tell the story real quick. When the first video I ever did, I was trying to get funding for my other business. And I literally am on my Mac like I am now, and I've got yellow stickies all over, and I'm reading like this all across. And you can tell I have no saliva in my mouth and my heart's pounding. I'm like, it was awful. I've been on national television, local television. I do this, and it's just practice. And this is like in a year, guys. So you can go from that, oh my God, I can't do it. And I'll tell you the best piece of advice somebody gave me, which has just changed everything. So everyone who's afraid to do this, nobody wants to see you fail. Everybody's here today. There's not one person in this list who wants to say, see Christina get nervous and, oh my God, she can't talk. No, you want to hear what I have to say. You want to share you want to hear my business tips and what we all say together. So just remember that, if that helps you get over that initial fear, that everybody is there because they want to be there and they want to hear what you have to say.
Right. And the thing is, I mean, yes, with as much as I Periscope, and yes, I have a course, and yes, all this blah, blah, whatever, Periscope and blab now.
Blab, blab.
The fact of the blah, blah, blah. Right. But the fact of the matter is, I've been scoping on my phone and then drop my phone. Or, oh, this was great. I was doing a scope about visibility and nobody could hear me. That was beautiful, but I mean, that's live stream. And look, I can tell you that, and I can tell you that so that nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And the thing, and I will say this until the cows come home, which shows you how old I am, but I will say this all the time, and that is live streaming is real. Everybody is real on live streaming. And the people who aren't getting on live streaming are the people who are hiding behind the perfection of other social media platforms. You can edit your podcast forever so that it's perfect. It's pristine. You can edit your videos forever so that everything is perfect. Everything you say is perfect. You can redo. Nobody knows how many times it took you or how long it took you to create that one video, right? But they sure as hell can see how long it takes you to get a sentence out on live streaming, right? There's no teleprompter here. You can't read a script. Everyone can see you're reading a script, right? There's nowhere to hide, and you either know your stuff or you don't. And guess what? If you don't, it is apparent to everybody.
Yep. But it's all about.
So we have a question.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
It's all about transparency and authenticity now, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Don't take yourself too seriously. Just be out there. If you mess up, go with it.
Yep. Right. So we have A. Shaviva. If you had a button in the stream of a Blab or Periscope, would that be good for you? What if you had to share the revenue with the platform? I'm not sure I understand that question. So I'm actually just saying that because I don't really understand your question. I don't know why we would want a button in the stream. But I will say this about like being authentic. I am not 25. So I've had this conversation with my 25-year-old friends who go, just turn on your camera. I'm like, no. Like when you turn 50, you are not just going to wake up in the morning and turn on your camera.
He feels for that. That is so true.
Right. So as an entrepreneur, like there are days that I'm in my pajamas at 8 o'clock at night, and I just never really got around to taking a shower that day. I've been working. Now I get up, I get in the shower first thing because sometimes
you just don't
I
know.
just can't help myself. Right. You turn on Blab and somebody wants you to join and you're like, oh no. So you kind of have to be camera ready at 8 a.m. now for this new live streaming stuff, which is kind of funny.
I have done it in my pajamas with no makeup and hair. Somehow the
you
lighting.
have?
Once, yes. Well, because I kept telling my members of my network, you got to be brave. Just do it. Get out there, figure out what you're going to say. I taught them how to use the app, and they're all standing there with the phone like they can't push that button. They think like the world is going to explode. I'm like, just do it. Come on, we're here for you. So we made everybody do a broadcast in this workshop I was doing. So the next morning, I'm like, well, I tell them all to be brave. I'm just going on here. This is as authentic as it's going to get, people.
Right.
Right. And you've
Right.
seen Jilly Sue in a baseball hat, and she was on there crying when they had auctioned off her Yeti, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
her mic, and they auctioned it off, and it was going to go to charity. And so then they asked her to go on, and she was crying in a baseball hat. I mean, she wasn't camera ready, right? And a lot of people know who she is. I found out who she was because I heard Kim Garst mention her. So that once Kim Garst mentioned her, then I checked her out and I started following her. I had never heard of her before. That doesn't mean that she's not famous or worthy or anything. It just means I didn't know. But, it is definitely easier for men than women, I got to say.
It totally is.
The baseball.
It totally is.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it totally is. So Enlightened Style was asking, she's a salon owner, and she has a custom blend. Because she was asking, is it good for her? And I'm thinking, I got to figure out how to be camera ready quick. Yes. So I think you should come on Periscope and give us some tips on how to quickly be camera ready. Do I let it stop me? I'm not going to say, I'm not going to lie and say I never let it stop me. I might let it stop me sometimes if I'm not.
You have seen me on days, Karen. I might do it with Karen one-on-one, but no.
Right.
I do have limits.
Because, at the end of the day, we're talking about PR and social media here. We're talking about an up-level brand.
Right. Your brand and your image.
And your image is a part of that.
Right. True.
So I'm not, by all means, throw a baseball cap on and Periscope. If it fits it doesn't fit my brand because I'm not young enough to pull that off anymore, frankly. And I'm not, it's just a fact.
I agree.
It's just a fact.
Right. Right. And regardless of
when I talk
little bit, and I don't know, maybe turn your volume down. Or
it just started all of a sudden.
Yeah, I noticed that a few minutes ago. So Blab is actually, even though I have headphones on, I mean, you'll see Jamie, do you have a headphone on?
No.
At all? Okay, yeah. Blab is actually made so that you don't technically have to have a headphone on. I just had it on because I was listening to something else, to another Blab actually. So yeah, you could technically just take your headphones off, but sometimes when that happens to me, I either turn this mic thing down or I turn the volume down on my computer. And sometimes that happens when I'm hosting the Blab and when I'm the one who's talking more. And I have a Mac. I don't know that necessarily makes a difference. But like I said, you don't technically have to have a mic on Blab, which is wonderful, which is beautiful.
Right. Okay, so does anybody else want to jump on? Maybe Jamie and Bonnie, we can see you again next week and see if anybody else wants to jump on and talk.
I don't know if you know Shell McNamara, but she just hopped in. She's like 3 people up. It says Shell. And Shelly, I'm going to put you on the spot, honey. She was not thrilled about putting herself on video. And because of that, she did a 30-day video challenge for her followers. And she has now just started Periscoping and Blabbing. So she might be an interesting person to talk to.
Okay, well, whoever wants to jump on, just jump on and we'll see who's here.
Thanks. See you guys.
Okay, so Peep social media.
There she is. Do you see her?
Yeah. Tell us about yourself.
Hi.
Peep social media.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
I was on with Bonnie yesterday. It's crazy. We were just talking about, I hurt my foot. I've been on the couch, so I've been grounded for a week. So I can't go anywhere. I can't get upstairs to do my hair and my makeup. And we were just talking about, I let it stop me for seriously a week because I don't go anywhere without full makeup, hair done. Yeah. And yesterday I just got over it. I was just like, here I have this message I want to share. And because I can't do my hair, I'm not going to share how important is my message, really. You know?
I know. You're right.
I feel better when I'm all made up and my hair's done, but.
Yeah. So.
Well, you look great. So that goes to show that it doesn't, you know how you should look, but to us, you look great.
Thank you. But yeah, you're right. We're hard on ourselves.
Yeah. It's a girl thing.
Yeah. And we're going to bring Sarah on too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Peep, what's your name?
Oh,
so we have to call you Peep.
You can call me Peep. My name is Cherie. I'm Cherie.
Cherie?
Yes. And Peep social media, that's me. But anyway, I just wanted to hop on because I think it's interesting that I keep getting this message. Do you know what I mean?
Which message is that?
That I'm talking about being real and authentic and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then being tested so much by, number one, I can't drive. I can't really do anything except sit on my couch and do this. And so my value of my productivity is diminished. And then I can't even fix my face. I can't get upstairs and retouch when I'm shooting a video, or even putting myself out here with you guys who I admire tremendously, but I've never met. You don't know me from anything. So I just think I keep getting this same message over and over lately. And I think it's a great message, and we need to, I'm 57, and it's not the same as when I was 37 or 47. It takes a long time to get all this, what I would consider camera ready, but that's really not why people listen to you or come to you and hire you. So I'm just giving you guys kudos for talking about this. I think we still need to talk about it because it is a real big thing, how we look and putting it out to the world. People we don't even know, Like, it's scary.
And you know what? I feel like, first of all, I'm going to say hi to Sarah for being here, and we're going to get to you in a minute. But I feel like I see all these people saying, just turn on your camera. To me, I'm a little on both sides of that fence, I guess. There are times I turn on my camera, but there are more times that I don't if I'm not camera ready. And I'm okay with that because, as a business, I have an image. All I have is my image, right? I don't sell pens, I don't have the best pen in the world. So my image is a part of what helps my pricing structure, and that's just a piece of it, of course. But, that's why we're here to talk about PR and social media. So Peep, your name's not Peep, I know that.
It's Cherie.
How do you use PR with social media in your business?
Well, it's all about PR, isn't it? Everything leads back to PR. Public relations. Public is people you're to meet. Relations is how is your relationship with them and how is it going to be? How does it appear? And I was going to say, Karen, I totally hear you. I feel 10 times more confident if I'm going to shoot a course or videos and I have my makeup girl come and help me put on lashes and do my hair and all that. The confidence is there. I don't have to dig as deep for it. So it frees my mind to focus on what I'm actually talking about. So I think there's a lot to say about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with women or men or any person saying, I want to look my best when I put myself out here with my best stuff. But at the same
Sarah,
time,
the video queen, what do you think about this?
Bless you. Oh gosh, my video instincts have just been firing like crazy since you guys started, and it starts like the name of this whole concept is so wonderful because it is this thing about being seen and heard, right? Which is so hard. Like a lot of people don't really talk about how hard that can be to get started. And it's all about like that beginning phase, because that's the scariest. And what happens a lot is it's really about resistance. And it's like, time and time again, I see people as they're getting started and they're in front of the camera the first time. It's like everything they've ever been told about how they look, any criticisms they've had in the past about anything about them comes out in front of the camera. All of a sudden, they're just like, nobody's going to want to listen to me. Oh, I've got this freckle and it's a deformity and my smile is crazy. And their brains go insane in front of the camera. And it's this really wild phenomena that happens to 99.999% of the people who stand in front of a camera the first time. And it's about this thing of just like, Karen, you said before about like, just press record and you'll be fine. And you're like, screw you. I'm scared and I'm not camera ready. I don't feel ready, right? Because that's what it's really about is, do you feel ready internally. Because the external stuff,
Right.
I've seen so many people who have criticized themselves, like clients who've gotten on the phone with me or sorry, on Skype with me. And they're like, okay, I recorded this video, but like, I look like so ugly in it. And you can tell like I have really low self-esteem, and can you take a look and fix me? And I'll look at it and it's like, you're beautiful. Like, your spirit is so beautiful. What are you talking about? I would listen to you for days, you know? Like, we're very, very hard on ourselves when it comes to the camera lens for some reason.
Sarah,
And,
I had a client who did, or Karen and I did, and I'm not going to say her name, but her reel was amazing. She was gorgeous. She's so smart, one of the smartest women I've ever met, and she hated it. I was like, what do you mean you hate this? You are so good. But she was so hard on herself. And yeah, I think we just have to get past that.
Yeah. And I do think part of it is there is something around like actually just doing it. Because the doing of it is actually dealing with the fears that you have, you know? And it's like, you know, when you go in the water and it's kind of cold and it's like, do you go in slowly? And so like you get to your kneecaps and it's really cold and you're like, ooh, and then you get a little in your nether regions. You're like, oh God, that's freezing. Like if you just jump in, it's far less painful. Yeah. You know, so, and I think
Work off the Band-Aid.
Yeah. Tear off the Band-Aid
Right.
and slowly change your mindset, you know? Cause it's like, I don't know, there's this thing about just allowing yourself to be bad. And I think, I can't remember who mentioned it earlier, but we're talking about perfection and saying like, you know, if you're editing your videos, you can make it perfect. If you're, you know, photoshopping stuff, you can make it perfect, quote unquote, right? But it's allowing ourselves to be extremely imperfect especially when we get started.
Well, it's allowing yourself to be real. Because when you walk out in the everyday world, nobody's perfect. There's nothing. Perfection doesn't exist. So just be authentic, be real. That's what people want to work with anyway.
Yeah.
And I get that all the time. I speak a lot. People say, I feel like, you know, 500 people in the room, and they say, I feel like you were talking to me, like we're friends, like you really want to see me succeed. But I do, but, you know, and I'm not perfect up there. I know that, but I think we just have to not be so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. And that's really, I think that's the number one thing, because we're entrepreneurs, we're ambitious people, we have high goals. We want everything that we put out into the world to show how high quality we are, you know, the kind of work that we can do. And I think like a lot of times when people start with videos, all of a sudden they look like such a newbie and they come across as someone who doesn't know what they're doing because they're so self-conscious. They, you know, don't know where to put the light, and so the sound's terrible, so they look unprofessional. So I think that's a big fear for people too, is because you're an expert at what you do, you want to come across that way. Sorry.
So Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost you, Karen.
You lost me? You can't hear me?
Hear you.
Really?
Oh, now we can. Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sarah spent days with me on a Skype. She's in Canada on my iPad, and I had her in my office to stage it for videos. Days. Don't you have a lamp? Go buy some flowers. Here's a list of things you should have for next time. You know, because, and I should just go buy a freaking background like Christina has, so that it's simple, right? But it was important to me that there was no distractions in my background. You know, that it was professional looking, but yet still casual and comfortable. Days. No lie.
But, you know, I think people, you know, one thing I see is people want to start at the finish line as opposed to at the beginning of the race. So they'll see what other people are doing, how awesome they are on video, and they go, oh my God, I'm not that. And I'm not even gonna bother starting because I can't even remember my name when I press record, you know? But I don't think you do it easier of yourself or your business by thinking you have to be amazing at it the first time you press record. And that's why you just don't show people like the first 100 videos that you make. Like or you're in like a supportive group where you're all doing that kind of stuff and ripping off that Band-Aid, you know? But I think like allowing yourself to start off as a big beginner and being okay with being bad at it and really sucking and like, you know, that's
but you're not,
Sarah, I really feel like, Sarah,
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say that you really hit on something a while ago that's really hard for people who've been in the business for 20, 30 years. They're so good at what they do. And yes, we always have to learn how to do new things, especially in the online world, in social media. There's a new thing every day you have to learn how to do. This is a whole new level of learn how to do this. And when you're used to knowing everything like that off the top of your head, you don't have to think about it. You've been doing it for so long. This is really a challenge, but it's something we if we're going to be impactful now, it's a new story. It's live streaming. That's what it is. So if you don't want to do it, it's okay. But I just think once you get over that first initial hurdle, like you said, you have to say, okay, yeah, I've been doing this 20 years, whatever. I haven't been doing video 20 years. So it's going to be growing pains.
Yes.
And I think we're not used to having that anymore, you know? Like,
well, I'll tell you, for anybody out there who's watching, the number one thing I'd suggest with videos is to start with the simplest possible step that you can do. So don't start going, where I need lights, I need a microphone, I need a camera, I need this, that, and the other. Like, just use your webcam and start pressing record. Don't use microphones, don't worry about lighting, don't worry about what you're wearing, makeup, anything like that. It's just about that first step. Because if you start thinking about everything else that you need to learn with video, like over time, you won't even start with that first step. So that's what I'd say is like, whatever's easiest for you. If you have a webcam on your computer or a phone or whatever's easiest for you to talk to, that's what you start with. And don't worry about any bells and whistles until you start feeling comfortable on camera, and then start incorporating one step at a time. You know, keep it simple as possible.
Okay, you guys, so we really want to keep this to an hour, and we're getting close to the hour. So Sarah and Peeps, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to kind of drop you guys if you don't mind now, because it's been great stuff. But we want to talk to you guys a little bit about what you want to see from us on this show. So and as you can see, I'm back on my phone because I don't know what happened.
Okay.
What do you guys want to see from us on this show? What kinds of things, like we're talking about bringing on guests, do you have any suggestions? And what can we help you with? Right, Christina?
Absolutely. We talked about, we've got a Periscope expert. We've got a crowdfunding expert. I'm going to see if I can get a news anchor to come on, talk to us a little bit about PR. But we'd love to see, your ideas, because we want you guys to come back every week and hang out with us.
So Simon's asking if he can jump on with another perspective. I just don't think we have time, Simon, but we'll be back next week. I mean, Christina and I, the one thing we agreed on was this is going to be done at 3:30.
It's an hour.
So
yeah.
We can stop the record and I can stay on for a little bit, but we're going to stop the record at 3:30 either way. So tell us a little bit about what kinds of things you want to see from us.
Promoting collaboration, and we can talk a lot about that just in what we've done together. And I'm a huge, huge proponent of that. People think I'm crazy. I collaborate with my competitors because I don't believe that we have competitors. I believe we can all work together, and the pie is so big, and somebody might like them more than they like me, and then they appreciate that interaction, and then vice versa. They might like me better than they like them. So yeah, I'm all about partnerships and collaborating and working together.
Yep. So creating partnerships, people are talking about. Sarah, you are very welcome. Thank you for coming on and giving us some help. So we'll bring on definitely people for collaborations. We didn't really get to a lot of it this time, and that's my fear a little bit with doing this on Blab, because we really didn't get to a lot of talking about how we can help you with your PR and social media. But I still think this was valuable. Yeah,
we will. We're going to have a format, and we're going to bring guests on, and we're really going to give good tips and good suggestions. And then the end of the show, we'll be bringing people on, kind of hot seat questions, that kind of thing.
Sounds good to me. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to wrap this up. This was Get Seen, Be Heard. I'm Karen Yankovich, and with me I have
Christina Daves, PR for Anyone. Thank you guys for coming, and check us out on our websites. We have a lot of great information on there, and let us know how we can be of service to you.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. I'm going to stop. We're going to be done. We're done here for today. We'll see you all again next week. Same time, same place.
Thanks for joining us today on our Blab series, Get Seen, Be Heard. If you've missed any episodes, you can always find us at www.getseenbeheardtv.com/YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll always be notified when we upload a new episode. We work together with clients, helping them combine social media and PR to get more customers and grow their business. If that sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, visit us at www.soartoprofit.com. We have regular workshops where we combine our expertise and show you how to use social media and publicity to get seen and be heard. See you next week.